Remember, remember the 5th of November. A rhyme echoed by cheering children as they parade a straw-filled effigy, or Guy, in a wheelbarrow through the streets of England at this time every year. Pennies are collected as a form of donation as crowds begin to surround piles of wood across the land. As dusk falls, a celebratory burning of the Guy atop a large bonfire symbolizes the consequences of rebelling against state-sponsored oppression at the close of the Middle Ages. But who was Guy Fawkes? A mere terrorist with a selfish agenda? Or a hero aiming to bring the end to what some considered a ruthless dictatorship? Hello and welcome. Today, our first Weird Rewind aims to uncover the man behind the 1605 Gunpowder Plot, his reasons behind an attack on aristocracy, and his gruesome torture and execution that still stuns millions around the globe when learning of its brutality. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the weird history that we all commonly share. The late 1500s was an age of discovery and colonization. Shakespeare was penning plays, and the New World was being charted. Yet, beneath this age of exploration, life for the common man was challenging. Diseases like the bubonic plague occasionally ravaged towns. Superstition was rife, witch trials and public executions were common spectacles. And for Catholics, life was especially hard. The Protestant Reformation had cracked Europe in two, and England had borne its own share of uproar. Under Queen Elizabeth I, Catholicism was suppressed, its followers hunted and persecuted. It was a time where faith became a battleground, and heretics met death's cold embrace on wooden stakes. Born in 1570 in York, England, Guy Fawkes came of age in this period of uncertainty. His early life bore the weight of this religious strife. Though baptized a Protestant, his family had strong Catholic leanings. After his father's death, his mother remarried a devout Catholic, influencing Fawkes' own religious journey. Historical records and accounts suggest he was quite intelligent, with a rather quiet disposition, and unlike some rabble-rousers of the time, Fawkes was not a loud, attention-seeking man. He was known to be loyal, steadfast, and deeply principled, with an unwavering commitment to his Catholic faith. It was this deep connection to Catholicism that led Guy Fawkes to continental Europe in 1591, where he aligned with the Catholic Spain against the Protestant Dutch in the 80 Years' War. The battlegrounds molded him, and his expertise with explosives was forged in the fires of warfare. Amid the cacophony of cannons and musket fire, Fawkes honed his martial skills. His reputation grew, not only as a soldier, but as an expert in the art of destruction. In 1603, the ascension of King James I provided a glimmer of hope for England's Catholics, but it was quickly snuffed out. Continued suppression fueled the flames of resentment. Fawkes, tired of watching his brethren suffer, saw a radical solution, a violent uprising to restore a Catholic monarch. In the clandestine corners of London's taverns, murmurs of a rebellion began to form. The Gunpowder Plot of 1605 aimed to annihilate England's ruling elite. The plan was to both assassinate the King of England as well as destroy the very seat of power, Parliament. In the early hours of November 5th, 1605, Guy Fawkes and 12 other co-conspirators clandestinely placed 36 barrels of gunpowder in a rented cellar directly below the Houses of Parliament. That's the equivalent to 1.5 metric tons of TNT, more than enough to get the job done. Little did they know that just 11 days before the intended detonation, the Catholic peer, Lord Monteagle, found himself the recipient of a chilling anonymous note. The message bore a dire warning: stay clear of the grand opening at Parliament on November 5th, 1605. Loyal to the king, Monteagle passed the message on to the king's chief minister. A search of the cellar was conducted, and Fawkes was found dressed in a cloak and hat, wearing boots and spurs, and in his pockets, fuses and matches. He was arrested immediately. Once ensnared within the cold, imposing confines of the Tower of London, Fawkes' ordeal began. The Tower was not just a prison. It was a place of whispered horrors where the echoes of anguished souls lingered. Those who entered the tower seldom left unscarred, both mentally and physically. Now at the mercy of his captors, Fawkes was introduced to an instrument of unyielding pain, the rack. This apparatus consisted of a rectangular frame with a roller at both ends. The victim's ankles and wrists were tied to chains connected to these rollers. As the interrogation proceeded, a torturer would gradually turn the rollers, pulling the chains taut. This would stretch the victim's body with each turn. The gradual stretching could last for hours, causing dislocated joints, torn muscles, along with unbearable agony. Fawkes also faced the dreaded scavenger's daughter, an instrument that would compress the body, forcing the victim into a painful crouched position, breaking bones and causing internal bleeding. Throughout these sessions, Fawkes was repeatedly asked to give up the names of his fellow conspirators. Initially, his resolve was unyielding, a testament to his ironclad conviction. But as the days progressed, as flesh was torn and bones were strained, the human spirit, no matter how resolute, began to waver. The pain became a mind-numbing entity, consuming all thoughts and rationale. Ultimately, it was this relentless agony that compelled Fawkes to reveal the names of his fellow comrades. In 1605, a traitor's execution wasn't swift. It was a spectacle drawn out for maximum effect. Fawkes' sentence was a brutal reflection of the era's retributive justice system. To be hanged, drawn, and quartered was an elaborate and morbid affair. The Scottish knight, William Wallace, had previously suffered the same fate. First, dragged through the streets, often tied to a hurdle, condemned would be exposed to public ridicule and abuse. Following this dehumanizing parade, the individual would be hanged, but only to the brink of death. Just when the veil between life and death was thinnest, they would be cut down and brought back to consciousness. The next stage, drawing, involved a grim display of evisceration. The victim, still alive, would have their abdomen cut open, and their entrails would be removed and burned before their very eyes. This visceral act symbolized the purging of their treacherous intentions. Finally, the quartering stage commenced. Here the body would be divided, with each part dispatched to different corners of the kingdom. This served as a macabre reminder of the consequences of treason. However, Fawkes, either through sheer determination or seeking a final semblance of control over his fate, preempted his tormentors. As he was led to the gallows, with the noose in place, he jumped, snapping his neck, causing immediate death, sparing himself from the full wrath of his executioners. The lifeless body of Guy Fawkes was still subjected to the gruesome post-mortem rituals, a brutal warning to those who dare betray the crown. Fawkes' shadow stretches long across history. His visage, now immortalized in masks, symbolizes resistance. But as the bright bonfires rage every 5th of November, it's worth peering into the darkness. Beyond the mask, directly to the man, Fawkes remains an enigma, a beacon of rebellion whose motives still stir debate amongst historians to this day. If you found this journey intriguing, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more historical explorations. Until next time, keep questioning the past to understand the present. See you in the next rewind.